Because as soon as you sell all your land away to everybody else in other countries, do your laws really matter? What if the Chinese decided to move all the extra populace that they have to Utah? Could you stop them if they bought 100, 1,000, or 1,000,000 acres of land, or whatever it is in the Middle East, or in the middle of the country? Again, it's just the world has changed. We don't need an army anymore. You need smart people. You need people with money. What's happening to the Africans? They have all the natural resources in the world. Why aren't they living like the people in Saudi Arabia? Why can't they get along well enough just to provide for themselves? There shouldn't be any hungry people in Africa, but you have these warring countries. Somebody gets jealous. Always there's a leader that gets into power and says, well, wait a minute, I hate my country, and I came into power saying that I'm going to liberate people, but now I've been here and I can see that I could take over these other nations, and I want to keep all the resources for myself. Now the Chinese come and say, hey, we'll buy everything from you. I've heard, on MSNBC, they was talking about Joe Scarborough was saying that, or one of the pundits were saying that all the copper mines in the world pretty much are owned by the Chinese, which is going to be the new gold in the coming technology-based era. But moving on, so now as we lose our middle class, and these other countries grow a middle class, they have more buying power. So then our dollar goes down. Now, as we talk about the dollar, let's think about this: the United States dollar is not backed by the gold anymore. You can't go to Fort Knox and say, or the U.S. Treasury and say, hey, look, I want to get $1 or $50 or $1,000 worth of gold. You can't do that. They're not going to give it to you. They used to could 100 years ago. You could do that, but you can't do it anymore. Our dollar is based on the GDP, the national GDP, gross domestic product. So the dollar fluctuates back and forth as far as value to other countries. But technically, now that it's not backed by gold, technically, do we really have to pay taxes? Because if America printed up $1 million and sent it to your house, genuine, real money, would it mess up the economy? Not really. If it did that for everybody in the country, would it mess up the economy? Not really. What's going to happen is, remember, the whole system of paying taxes is because the paper was backed by a world resource, gold. But it's not anymore. It's based on GDP. So that's why our dollar fluctuates. So the deficit goes up and the dollar decreases in value, and the euro, and there's a whole nother lesson in that. But now that we've given every other country a middle class, and now China, we don't want to send any more factories. Our entrepreneurs and our industry leaders don't want to send any more factories to China. They don't want to send any more factories to India. Vietnam is starting their prices, the prices to produce the goods are going back up in these foreign nations. They're wanting $12, $14 an hour. What the people in America want. The question is, why didn't they go to Mexico? Why didn't they go to Brazil? Why didn't they stay on this side of the continent, the country, the world? Why didn't they go to Africa? But they picked those nations for a reason. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but what if they're only taking off the world, the axis of evil of North Korea off the list, and they blew up the nuclear reactor because now we're going to send them factories. Their people are willing to make $5 a day. They haven't got a middle class yet. They just have an upper class and a lower class, rich and poor people. We're going to go in there and start sending factories over there. But 10 years down the road, America's going to be on its last leg, and all the factories have to come back because now the people they're going to want less money, and that's what they're trying to get to. So I think it's just an interesting dynamic at how the world works if you look at it from an economic standpoint. Waging wars, the strategic advantage, protecting your pockets. Just interesting. So, like I said, for instance, a key point. I was doing some research and I saw another movie, and it was talking about how Osama bin Laden, when Iraq was going to get invaded originally from Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden went through the process of going to the Saudi Arabian cartel and say, hey, look, let me, OPEC or whoever it is, the king, let me protect you with my 60,000 troops. And then America said, well, wait a minute, let us protect you. We're going to throw $1 billion of infrastructure in there, plus we're your top customer. So let us do this. Let us come and protect you. Osama bin Laden gets pissed and said, well, what the heck is this? You know, oh man, I supposed to got this. It was like a contract bid. America won the bid. He lost. He got bitter. He can't go say, we got to get rid of these people. You know, they took this contract from me. What he had to say was, these infidels, let me use religion to convince you to follow me, because he told these people the truth. There was a contract dispute and he lost. who would follow him? So he had to go through religion to control them and get them on his side. So now they don't even know why they're fighting. It's just it's a popular thing to say. Infidels, get out of my country. You know, but that's why I started economics. And then he couldn't play the big boy game, which is if you lose, you need to walk from the table and go get you another deal. Now, interesting enough, as America has got this whole battle problem, you know, with the oil. Now that used to be years ago, we can go to OPEC. Hey, we demand more oil. You pump more oil out. But now we're not the only major customer on the block anymore. China says, well, we're fine with the amount of oil we got, and India says we're fine too. America's like, well, come on, more oil. So we don't have any control anymore. So as everybody else catches up with us, we're not the big kids on the block, and we don't have any control anymore on the price of oil, on how many barrels are being produced, because there's other people just as big, if not bigger than us. China is by far bigger than us. So think about the world from an economic standpoint. There are deals going on about land and resources to make these countries keep growing. They got this intercontinental highway they want to build from Mexico through America all the way up to Canada, and a lot of Texans are against it because they're saying, well, then we'll become like the European Union. You know, America dissolve into that, but that's what we're all dissolving into, one big country, the whole world, one big country. But how do you maintain identity, culture, and self-preservation through that? Who rules? Do we have a bunch of presidents that meet in their council? Is the New World Order coming? Who knows? Interesting thoughts. Just wanted to share.